Every time I spit, I tick to show you it's hot.
See, I'll admit that when I rhyme, I'm not a nice person, and I like cursing. So from this, you'll get no cleaner, nice version.
My friend, right off the top, Happy New Year. How were your holidays this year? Because as we know, with 2020 and COVID-19, so much was different. And the holidays, I know for me, felt very different, but I was glad that I was still able to spend some time with people and still being able to do certain things, even though it wasn't the way I would usually have it. How was it for you and your family?
First of all, yeah, blessings, and also blessings to your family and everybody out there, going through the season and everything, and and everything we face with. But for me, it was actually really, really awesome. I'm blessed. I have a beautiful 8-year-old little girl, little woman now. I should say little girl, but even because your kid is being young, but they always growing and they don't grow small. But so we had a great time. I've been really busy and releasing like a single couple of days before Christmas and just everything for the past year. So I was actually, the blessing was being able to slow down enough and not have to run around and just be home and have that time, right? So yeah, I appreciate it, man. It was great. It was great for us, actually.
Now, for folks who are listening to this whole interview on Rudy Blair Entertainment Media, RudyBlairMedia.com, we have been trying to coordinate in doing an interview for, I would say, the last 3, maybe even 4 months. And because of the way this year has been, it has been really hard to try to make things happen. We figured now things are slow. This is a good time to start the new year off right and getting a chance to talk to someone like you who is truly an original, somebody who has opened the doors for many other hip-hop artists. I want to get into a little bit about your career for folks who need to know that, like I said, when the door was knocking, you were right there and opening it, and you opened it for a lot of other people. 2020, as we talked about it a little bit earlier, very different from folks. How did you feel, or how did you get through 2020, knowing, again, COVID-19, Black Lives Matter? I can keep going on and on and on.
There were so many things, but for an artist, I think if you were an artist of any kind, it was actually a blessing in disguise. And for me, it just sprung a whole bunch of things. I ended up, landing a record deal out of it. I ended up landing, for the first time, 3 singles out in a matter of maybe 4.5 months. I ended up recording more music than I ever recorded probably in my life because of that whole, okay, we've got to lock down, sit at home. And the funny thing was, I do work. I have 4 or 5 other ventures I do besides music, and all of those things were kind of in those essential services arena. So I haven't slowed down this year. You know what I mean, my friend? It's actually, I've been making a lot of moves this year. So if it didn't happen like this, I don't think my rollout would have been the same.
Where do you get that drive from? Where does that come from for you?
It's funny you said I had that same conversation with one of the people I work with today. It's because I'm different than a lot of other. I'm Canadian, yes. I'm a Toronto MC, but I was always raised on both sides of the border. That's what I think people don't understand about my hip hop. My aunt ran a church in Brooklyn, right in Flatbush. So so every Christmas, every March break, all these times of the year right now, from before I could talk, I was in New York. So all my hip hop was from New York City, and then going to Florida or going to my other aunt in Philadelphia or driving. You know what I mean? My Uncle Winston lives in Florida. We always could see him, or he'd drive up to see us. So that was my birth into hip hop. It really wasn't from Canada. I was one of those people. So I had that drive, and part of that drive was seeing our people in New York. I was just talking about that get up and go. And I tell people I always have that, get up in the morning and go. Because, when you're in New York, Rudy, I know you know, a lot of people don't know in Toronto, when you get up and you just that one in 20 million, man, you don't have the luxury just sitting back you know what I mean? You know that feeling, man, when you're there, it's different. You got to go to be. So I've always seen that, and I always brought that drive back. And that's the thing people don't know about me, probably. That's my extra little thing that will never leave me till I leave the planet. You know what I mean?
But in your music, though, what stories do you like to talk about?
I just like to talk about either things I've really been through that touched me, or just topics that no one is talking about. That's pretty much my career. Like, even the sound of my music, you see my new record, Show You, I'm on an angle that no one hasn't been on for a while. It's not a totally new angle, but you haven't seen that angle for a while. So I like to look at everything that's out there, and then just throw an addition to it.
So with 2020 though, did your music and did your stories change because all of our lives changed?
Nah, because if you listen to Past, Present, Future, listen to my records, man. I'm always been ahead. Like, I've been talking what's gonna happen. I have a story called Seasons in the Sun, talking about all of this stuff. Listen to my past records. And a lot of people who listen to my catalog say that I don't just talk the ordinary stuff. Like, I'm always been kind of beyond what's gonna happen. And look at it. And if you look at my first record, here's an example that someone pointed this out later. My first album, The Chosen Ones, if you look on the inside of my cover on a CD, I'm playing between two towers. Like, it's on the class head. If you look at the front of it, I'm in a position like it's a plane crash. That's what happens. And my record came out on 9/11. That's when that record came out. And then we're listening to like 10 years, someone goes, yo, your record, I can't even look at it. Why? You're playing between two towers, and you open your CD, look at it. So anyone got that CD, you go home and look at that. And what's the name of the album? The Chosen Few, man. So, see, I've always had this thing, even my whole thing with music. So, no, I've just kind of been like that. And I think any true artist, we kind of touch on it. Ice Cube did it. You listen to Ice Cube, you knew the riots was coming, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a hip-hop thing. We're just the seers, the pulse, the real ones, though, right? Like, because when you hear me, it's easy for me to create. Ask anyone to work with me. My works of art are done fast, man. Fast, man.
So let me jump in. So when you because you mentioned earlier you recorded 3 songs. We're going to talk about the last one, the one you just recently released, in a moment. But how did you record 3 songs during this pandemic, knowing that there were places that would shut down? Like, how did you go about it?
Because I was blessed. I recorded at a studio that was downtown, that was isolated. The whole building actually was isolated except for the engineer in the studio.
Wow. And
the studio is also the most cleanliest controlled environment. Artists can record. It's the same way. And I've also bought equipment and I've been recording at home, fully functionally can record at home myself, which every artist should be at right now, I think, for the last 5 years too. So I could record at home, send a vocal there, boom. I've got a network. I've got a whole production big setup where I can record. Like, in the last time, people haven't seen me. Last time you seen me, I was just in the middle of finishing. I seen you at the Junos. Remember we saw each other?
That's right.
On that? Yeah, so people didn't see me for a reason, but I built a whole network. So I got something that a lot of people don't know it's about to drop. Like, it's big. It's not just like about me, but I got 2 to 3 places to record right now if I want at will, as opposed to look for one. And I could record at home, and I could record myself, and I got a self-production unit of producers from the States up here, like international. I got 5 producers right now sending me music when I need it. I can do everything right now. Like, what people are seeing with me is just the tip of the iceberg. There's a whole lot. This year alone, and I'm not making this up, I made probably 3 years music.
Wow.
This year, it's in the vault. It's done. I'm not talking about halfway, not done. I mean, it's finished. Like, it's mixed. My album could be out right now.
So I could
put a 30-song album out right now.
So we're gonna have lots of music for the next 2 years.
Oh, I got 3 years music done, and I got signed to a label this summer that nobody talked about for some reason, which is so weird. Like, I got signed to Eric B's label, Rakim, Eric B's label. So in the States, so I got a U.S. deal, so I could release records every 6 weeks with the system too. And a lot of people produce records, but I got a system and its distribution through Sony, so I got the best distribution around the world.
And now I got to jump in. How did that deal come about? Since everybody was so worried about shutdowns and not knowing if they were going to make money.
Because music is something where if you work hard, you put your nose down, somebody's doing something, they're going to see you. And I put in a lot of work. and my skylarking from skylarking and the work I put in there. Not here. I was on Shade 45 from July. I was on Sirius Radio and no one is paying attention. No one is playing me up here. Can't really even turn to me. I was on Shade 45. I've been on Shade 45 for the last 5 months, man.
Okay, here's
you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Because I went to
no.
DJs, right? I went to this is what I did. Canadian radio was, Canada. It's like the touch story. Canada never come to you, so I have a network. I'm thrust. I built my network through the States. I got relationships with certain people. So when my thing came around again, I'm not a complainer. I just went to my people. But one thing I learned was just to go to DJs. So I went to my DJ network.
But why
you
do
understand?
we still? Yeah, no, and I want to jump in. Why do we still have this problem? This problem has been going on since, I would say, even the 60s. Why is it that Canadians don't get played in Canada, even though there's a rule that says you have to play a certain amount of Canadians up here, but you have to go to the States or even Europe to make it big for your name to come out, and then you get played. I don't understand it. And then for some other artists from other countries, it's like they can't do the same thing in their own. They come to Canada. I mean, let's face it, the whole boy band thing would not have happened if it wasn't for Canadians, because they all came up here first to make it big. Why is that the case?
Because Canada is a country, it's a small population. A lot of the labels front when they just are distributors, and then their mandate, I'm going to say it, their mandate is from their home country. Like, EMI, what was the center of EMI? Everything's EMI States. Well, at that time, it was like when all that stuff with beef factory that was going on, it was Britain. Sony, where's that? That's Japan. So what the home with the label is where the mandate comes from, right? So EMI always had a mandate back in the day. From the top down, sign artists, promote it, put them out. But the other labels were just distributors. And then we had a bunch of people holding positions whose hands were tied. And there's all these people walking around 5, 7, 8, 10 years in our industry who were like, yeah, you have a position, but you can't sign nobody. Your hands are tied. It's like a front. It was like the Wizard of Oz, man. You understand?
It's crazy.
It's crazy. That's what it is. But I've always known this forever. I know this from Dream Warriors and Maestro. It ain't changed. So I just jumped over it. Like I said, I don't even have time to complain.
And
you know what I mean?
thing,
I don't have time to complain about it, move about it. You just move. But it's just really funny in hindsight when you look like, this is crazy, man. You look at a bunch of awards, doors, shows, things like a brother here. My accolades have done it. And you guys don't even turn like boo-hoo. It's like, wow, that's just real interesting. But hey, man, when they call me, you heard it first, Rudy. You see how I am. I reach out. When they call me, I'm not rushing to call back. I'll tell you that. That's my new MO. Before, I'd be like, hey, CBC, hey, whoever. CBC, I'm not even trying to show big thing on them, right? But I'm just saying using the media stations that we know that's out there, right? And we don't have those T's. There is, and that's the other thing, we don't have a T anymore. We don't have a person in power. There's nobody in power for us up here, man. Nobody in the media. We had that before. That's why T was so important, man. That's why you are. True. That's why you are so important, and that's why I made sure I reached out to every major media like that from the jump before, because I knew when all this stuff was coming from. I knew a lot of everything. What everybody's seeing now. The funny thing with me is I've known this from August. I know and there's more stuff coming that I can't see right now. There's more that's bigger. There's more that's big. There's something even bigger that I can't even, like I'm hinting, but it's coming too. So it's not even the end of it, and it's beyond just me. But it's a music thing. You know what I mean? So it's like I've been hollering people, hey man, y'all better tap in. Or you about to get tapped out. So when people get tapped out, that's okay. I know who my friends are. I know who's been loyal. I know who's deserving, man.
Well, we're happy that you're being able to get this music out. One thing I do want to point out to a lot of people, everything that you said is absolutely true. And the other thing I want to add to it, too, is there are a lot of Canadian artists, when labels were being bought out, their music and their albums are still sitting on shelves. And this is like 20, 30 years later. There are a lot of artists who I spoke with who have said, yeah, I had full albums, but when we got bought out from whatever company, they just put my album on the shelf, and I'm like, wait. So you still have an album waiting to be released and it's not? No.
Yeah, but that's what the registry is. They have the rights to your masters, right?
Exactly.
When you sign over, right? So that happened to a lot of U.S. artists. Like that's just the whole music industry. There's so many hip hop artists, you know what I mean? That just getting that, and so you always hear that in the music, right? That's why you listen.
But how did you avoid that?
Because I've always been independent. That's what people don't understand about me. Like I've never signed to a label. I own all my masters. My catalog is mine. So I owned it, and then I licensed the rights to labels. So they came to me, but I finished my product. I went to the studio. I paid for it. Even this new project, all that, anything you see from there, the design, the artwork, the rollout, like that's me and my team, man. I don't think people realize that about me. It's always been like that. It's not somebody else doing it. It's not the label, because I have an ownership, and I've always been independent. I've been independent from '95, right? Before that, I was in groups. So that's just my rollout. Everyone else I roll with was signed, so people always lumped me. Cardi had a deal. Chaclair was. Everybody else was signed, right? The Rascals came out independent too, right? Saw had all that together, but then they licensed their stuff for, I think it was the first 3 albums. That's why Figure 4 is an indie as well, right? Giving props to Chemo and them too, right? So that's why we always had a good bond too, because we were the ones who came indie. So you see all my original videos, that's not label stuff. You know, I think this is for sure is the only one I made them throw that in with my album deal, that they had to do a video.
Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
But you know what is music? You know what it is with me? I went to school for music, and I tell people, and music's negotiable, and I've always been that. You know what I'm saying? So, and I just came up, like a lot of people don't know, I was mentored by the Rumbles, the Dream Warriors, the Maestros when I was like 15, 14. So I was around. So I just had an early mentorship program in a sense. You know what I mean? And the music game, right? And then I came up with Ron Nelson from 15. So I've seen everything unfold differently.
You know what? I hope everybody is listening to this from beginning to end, because this is going to help people throughout 2021 and into the future when it comes to the music industry. But I want to get into this new single that you just released, my friend. You mentioned the name before. Mention it again. What's the single called, and what's the single about?
Oh, the new single is called Show You. It features Cedar Hill, that's Nish, and Landscape. A lot of y'all know them from, the Monolith family. And yeah, man, it's just a smash. It's like it says, show you. I'm going to show you. A lot of people thought, you'll see somebody for a while, maybe got a little rusty, maybe this, or maybe, skylocking, okay, you got lucky with one song. Oh, trust, maybe another song, or no. So now we're starting to open up and show you. And this is and also to the kids in the game, that'll show you what a real MC, is all about, man. You know what I mean? So it's just like it's a show and prove, like hip-hop record, man. He is a hip-hop record, man.
I can't let you run. That ain't fair. Steve Austin got you in the square. Look at these niggas practice. Entertaining, but they lack theatrics. I leave you flat on the back, kid. Yeah, come back with the rap, kid. Get the bounce, your girl on the mattress. You just a warm up, you just practice.
Now, you mentioned that there will be more surprises coming up in 2021, but will there be any virtual performances happening?
You know what? People have been tapping in. I've had 2 people tap in about doing a virtual performance, but the business wasn't right, or they went halfway, or they didn't approach. So for anybody out there, of course, I'm always open to do that, but the business got to be correct. You know what I mean? So as soon as the business is correct, yeah, I'm here, man. I'm here. We're ready to put it on, man. I got that. There's a Skylarkin remix coming out soon through DJ Despair. I'm working with him. He's doing big things. He got the Street Killers mixtape coming up. So that's with Ed Lee Shine from Born Americans. We got a remix starting. If you look on my page, everything's under Thrust Music. If you want to look on Instagram to YouTube, the same moniker is there, to Twitter. And yeah, so that's coming in a couple of weeks. I think the 27th. And then I got another single coming in March, a new single, March.
Okay.
So I'm rolling, man.
And cross fingers that, and I think they announced it for June. I will be seeing you, of course, here in Toronto for the Juno Awards. So let's cross fingers that we'll be able to see each other definitely then. But in the meantime, though, as we begin this new year, a lot of people are looking at 3-2-1, boom, hoping that everything was going to change. As we know, nothing changes very quickly. What advice can you give folks out there who have felt the pain of 2020 and are looking for light in 2021, but at the same time, things just don't happen in 3-2-1?
No, and nothing happens in 3-2-1 because why do you want it to happen in 3-2-1? If it happens fast, it goes fast, right? Everything should be gradual anyway. So take the time that you have and use it wisely. That's why I said apply. Learn that new skill, do that new thing, spend more time with your family. There's always something we can bring up. And you don't want to be that person when things go back to normal, gung-ho, boom, and you're like, I took all this time. What did I do? Because there's going to be like a leap, man, because there's going to be a bunch of people. I said, you don't want to be the ones left behind, man. Because I think a leap is what's going to happen when it goes go. Because you got a bunch of people who have been working through this, been on the grind, been putting their head down, been working on themselves, been looking at these areas in their life that they haven't been neglecting, right? And then you got people who haven't. Sometimes when it goes back to normal, man, that's called it. It's like sliders that show people don't go through like this little thing. Don't be the ones left behind, man.
All right. Social media is the place to go. Where do we go to follow you?
Yep, we're in the age of clarity. You know what I'm saying? We got to do it right now. It's all about electronics right now. So that's what people got to get their game up on right now. That's exactly. And our people, we got to get fit. Black people, people of color, you got to get fit. That's what it is. Because so this whole virus thing, you know, for my own people, it attacks vitamin D. It's your immune system. We're the most vulnerable to it. And then so basically, if you want to look at the message, trying to come after your health, those things you can eat to raise that up, but you got to stay healthy. And then what's the next thing that comes after? Those people who are obese. Oh my goodness, look at you Americans who's suffering from that, right? Mm-hmm. Diabetes, all those things. So it's a war of attrition in a sense. That's why I'm always people like, why are you always putting out that workout? Why are you always? It's a mental, physical, spiritual thing. So line those things up. This is the time you can do it. Even something like that, this is the best time to do it.
So where do we go to follow you?
Everything. Thrust Music. Thrust Music, MUZIK, on Twitter, on Instagram, on YouTube. If you want Facebook, my thing's pretty much full. But if you search Thrust, it's right at the top of the page. Everybody know that by now. Yeah, everything else is Thrust Music. Right across the keeping the continuity like you guys do in film. That's the word I was looking for.
And you are active, definitely. My brother, thank you so much for the interview. Thank you for the conversation. Thank you for the friendship. Thank you for the interviews. And thank you for the positivity that you are giving us for 2021, because we're definitely going to need people like you to help lead us through this tough times. And you, my brother, is like I said, man, it's always a pleasure, man. So keep doing what you're doing. We love you. We support you. We're behind you. It's like I said, we can't do this alone, man. And I'll thank you for the opportunity. And everyone else, yeah, man, stay tuned. Lots more coming, man. Plus OG. You know what it is.
Every time I spit, I take to show you it's hot. Motherfuckers.